Instagram, what's happening Facebook. Welcome to the Millionaire Student Live Wednesday night. We're going to give it some time before everyone jumps on. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have the whiteboard, the magic whiteboard. Real quickly below, before we kick it off, and whilst we get everyone in, I want to be able to just let you know that tonight's topic is going to be off the chart. For the next 30, 40, 50 minutes, I'm going to elaborate, dissect, and basically break down closing an individual, closing a deal, closing yourself on how much you truly deserve to make. And then most importantly, I'm going to go so deep into closing that I just don't want you to close $100, $200, $500 products. I want you to be able to have the mindset of closing $1,000 products, so high ticket products, $5,000 products. So with that being said, below there's a chat button, a chat bar and a little button. Type in below the city that you're from, or the state, or the country, or the continent, and I'd love to be able to welcome you. I want to take some time off, at least a minute or two, to welcome every single person on. I just want you to know at the end of this live, I'm giving away some cash. So one winner will win about $50 in cash, because you're on the live, because you're participating. So how do you participate? Number one, you comment. Number one, you hit that little arrow that shares it. Or on Facebook, there's 3 dots on the bottom. And you can find it on Instagram as well, where you take that 3 dots, you click on it, you copy the link, and you put on your social media as a post, or maybe you want to share on your social media so more people can be impacted. That's the whole goal. The whole goal is the Millionaire Student community. We want it to expand. So where are you jumping in from? Please comment below which city, which country, which continent. And if you're watching this live right now, just put an L. If you're watching the replay, put an R, so I know and I can go back after and literally comment on each one, and just be able to thank you for taking out your time to be on the live so you can learn more. So Dev, who do we have? Where are they jumping in from?
Okay, so Instagram, we have people from Malaysia's on the call, people from India's on the call, people from Dallas, Texas is on the call.
So we got 2 continents so far.
Denmark, Europe is on the call.
Europe, what's happening? 3 continents.
Asia, Philippines, we got Kingston, Jamaica, Mauritius.
What's happening?
South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe.
Africa in the house. 5 continents in literally 1 minute. Who else do we have? Which city, which country, which continent are you jumping in from?
Okay, so Facebook, we have Mauritius, we have Durban, South Africa, we have Jamaica, Cape Town, Botswana, San Francisco, Mozambique, UK, Texas.
We don't have anyone from South America yet. We're going to have someone from South America before we start this thing off. The 6th continent. Let's get it. Who do we have from South America? Share with someone from South America. I want South America on
Brazil's on the call.
Oh, Brazil.
Brazil is on the call.
Obrigado. So before we kick it off, just some rules real quickly. At the end, I'm going to be giving away $50 in cash. I give this away every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. That's $250 in total. And then if you want to win the other $250 that I'm giving away, so $500 in total, go to my Instagram, go to my Facebook, turn on your notifications, participate in the first in 5, because I promise you, I want to be able to give back as much as I want to, because I just want to be able to see that fulfillment and you being content. So below, comment live with an L for live, R for replay, so I know when you're watching this and I have the opportunity to go back and comment. We've had insane engagement in the past few lives, and if you don't know what I'm doing with this live, I'm going to elaborate this real quickly. I'm busy creating a program that's going to have hundreds of hours of content, and I'm giving you a sneak peek of that program for free. So you're actually watching me. I got one camera right here, and I got another, I got Instagram, I got Facebook. You're actually watching the course being shot right in front of you, but you're watching it live, and you're watching way before it even gets edited and uploaded onto the platform. You get the chance to watch it for free. This will not be up for more than 24 hours. I promise you it'll be deleted. Go back and try look at the past lives. It's all going to be deleted. Why? Because I want you to be able to get it here first. If you're live, you engage, you participate, there's $50 to give away. Once again, throughout this whole live, if you love anything, comment below. Maybe a quote, a phrase, anything that you've taken away from this live, but also understand the person who engages the most, the person who shares the most, the person who hits the heart the most, I'm going to give away $50. We're going to pick a winner later. So let's kick this thing off. So today I want to be able to chat to you about closing. And I want you to start learning how to close 3 types of things. Number 1, you're closing yourself on how much of money do you truly deserve to make. Number 2, you're closing, other people to buy a product or a service. Number 3, you're going out there and closing, someone else to hire you or to work with you. So building your brand. And when I'm talking about closing, I'm not really just talking about one specific way. There's various different ways. I can sit here and talk to you about closing your significant other, closing a guy, closing a girl, closing your sibling. There's so many different ways. And most of us don't understand that closing and negotiating works hand in hand. So there's a few things that I want to break down today. And I want to just make you understand, where did it come from? Where did the art of closing come from? How can you go out there and execute on closing to get your desired result? And then most importantly, who are you closing for? Are you closing for someone else to make them wealthy? Are you closing for yourself to make yourself wealthy? Or are you going out there and being able to close other people on why they should work with you, why they should hire you, and why they should be associated with you from a very young age? I wasn't the smartest crayon in the box. I wasn't the smartest, the sharpest pencil in the box. But I will tell you one thing. I definitely knew how to close my friends on how to be friends with me. I definitely knew how to close my teacher on how to like me, although I wasn't the smartest person. I definitely knew how to close anyone. So you've seen me with people like Jordan Belfort, one of my good friends, Les Brown, another good friend, Akon, another good friend, Jim Quick. You've seen me with all these people. Why? It's not that, I sat back and they found me. I went out and I found them. And I closed them on me being in their circle. So I want to break down a few things, but you got to understand that, right now, to close a certain amount of deals, you need to know a few things. And if you're taking down notes, I want you to write down a few things. Number 1, you need to know how to close a deal. You need to go, and I'm not going to answer all of these very, very soon, okay? But I want you to understand, you need to know how to close. From techniques to formulas, etc. Then you also need to be able to have a step-by-step plan. Now, here's the deal. You don't want to walk in robotically and start speaking and, literally say specific words and walk towards the script. It doesn't work like that. You got to keep practicing until you master the art of trial and error, until you go out there and have a script that is instilled in your subconscious mind, that whether you're awake or whether you're asleep, you're busy closing everyone. In my early stages as an entrepreneur, I'm talking about when 18, 19 years old, I was very hungry. I'm still hungry right now, but I used to close myself in my sleep. That's when you truly know you love what you do. So you want to have a step-by-step plan on how to go out there. You got to understand these deals will not close themselves. Just like if you need a laptop or a phone or an iPad to close people, you got to be able to open it. You got to be able to enter that code. You got to be able to go out there and make the first step. No one else is going to do anything for you. Okay? Another thing you want to be able to look at is you're only here to get a yes or to get a no. Either one. You're a decision collector. That's all you are. You don't beg people to get yeses, and you don't cry about people when they say no. Okay? You've got to be able to understand you are just here to collect yeses and nos. On the side, I'm going to write down there's 8 billion people around the globe. 8 billion people. 8 billion. What does that mean? Okay? It basically means that there is more people right now that you don't know than the people you do know in life. So don't be so emotionally attached to the people who say no. Just understand that while the average human being at 21 years old knows about 1,200 people by name and face, and if you're going through 8 billion people, well, you're only going through 1,200 on average, but 8 billion other people out there that's sitting there waiting for the opportunity that you need to show and share. Now here's the deal. If someone says no continuously over and over and over and over and over and over again, it could be two problems. Number one, it could be you. Number two, it could be your product or service. Okay? It could be one of the two. So you've got to be able to start auditing what are you selling and how are you as a salesperson. Okay? Also, you want to be able to understand before people buy, you're closing them on a relationship. Okay? So you're closing them on working with you. Working with you. There's a very famous saying, people don't buy from those, people buy from people who they like and trust. People just don't go out there and buy from any random Joe, and especially if the product pricing is not an entry-level pricing. So when you're working with people, I close my girlfriend all the time on which restaurant we need to go to. I close my mom and my dad and my sister on which vacation we need to take. I close them based on psychology. I put them in a state to make an emotional decision rather than a logical decision. And then, by the way, I'm talking to two different audiences today. The person that is very analytical, detailed, soft, that's going to say, wow, Sashin, closing people should be a crime. That's very bad. And that's fine if that's your belief system. But I need you to be able to understand you're always closing people. Whether you like it or not, you're always closing people. You closed your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend to work with you. I closed you right now to get you onto this video. If I didn't close you, you wouldn't be here. I do a lot of cash giveaways to get people to engage. I am closing you. I just gave you a secret. I am closing you on participating in my content. I close people on a daily basis. You close people on a daily basis. So you want to be able to go out there and understand we're naturally closing people every single moment, whether we subconsciously know it or we consciously know it. We're naturally closing people. So, children do it all the time. Children do it all the time. They ask mom and dad, Mom, should I have this or should I have that? Can we go here or can we go there? I like this or do I like that? Children are constantly closing parents on a daily basis. And I have children, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds are doing it subconsciously because it's in their habit. It's in their paradigm. They're doing it. Why can't you get out of that paradigm and realize closing is going to bring you more sales? So let's not turn a blind eye to closing yourself on how much you truly deserve to earn. I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I got to keep closing myself to make those calls, closing myself to close those deals, closing myself to keep adding zeros and commas to my bank balance. I got to keep closing myself. The average human being today, average human being, they negotiate and close an average 7 times per day. 7 times for them. When you walking across the street from one traffic light to the next, what do? You're closing people on you walking safely and they shouldn't drive past you and knock you. You're subconsciously, when you walk into a restaurant, you're trying to close someone that's trying to close you on what to order. You're offering them 2 options. So when you understand this is an art that you naturally do without any effort, now let's start adding effort and making it a art that you have mastered. And this is one of the, psychology is huge in how to become successful in life. But closing a deal, if I had to choose one skill for entrepreneurship, sales, closing. That's it. That's what I would choose. One skill. If they offered me 50 skills and I had to handpick one to run my business, I'd pick one, sales. So you got to start looking at a few things. Number one, experience. And I want to go back to you doing it over and over and over and over and over again. See, I wasn't a natural born salesman. I was a total introvert. But guess what? I had to learn my way, fail my way, get rejected. If you haven't heard my story, haven't bought my book and read it yet, you probably have heard this somewhere. I was rejected 145 times before my very first person said yes. And today, when I sit in front of anyone and sell them anything I want to sell them, whether it's a TMS product line, whether it's working with me, whether it's whatever I want to sell them, at least about 8 out of 10 people sit in front of me and say yes. It's not because I'm better than you. It's not because I dress better than you. It's none of those stuff. I bet you have more life experience than me. I bet you have more credibility than me. Well, right now worked a ton of my credibility. And I believe if you work on your credibility too, you'll be 10 times better than me. But I mastered the art of failing my way through experience to get to where I am right now. You gotta have zero emotional attachment. I'm totally immune to people's opinions. I'm totally immune to the outcome. A yes or no, I'm immune to it. If I get a yes, congratulations, welcome. If I get a no, great, no problem, it's not for you. Whatever you're selling, it's not for you. So I know you're from a different background. You might have industry experience in direct sales, in going out there working a 9 to 5. You might be working for someone else and selling for them. Whatever you're doing, you want to go self-employed, become an entrepreneur, the best time ever to go self-employed and become that entrepreneur right now. We're living in a world where Zoom is worth $40-odd billion, Zoom cloud meetings, and today the top 7 airlines in the United States combined aren't even worth Zoom's net worth, and Zoom just popped up and shot up in like 4 to 5 months. I'm totally immune to the rejection that people give me. I got zero emotional attachment. And I want you to start developing that mindset. It comes from a lot from psychology, right? You got to be able to have that psychology. You got to have that zero emotional attachment. So when people say no to you, great. Let it hit you, let it bounce off. Let it hit you, let it bounce off. But you got to start having a strategy. A strategy when you walk in, it's like you know how to read the room. Who's in the room, who's going to buy, who's not going to buy, who dresses smart, who doesn't, who looks like they have money, who doesn't. Because the number one objection, I'll talk about this a bit later, is money. It's not time, it's not I need to think about it, it's not I need to do my research, it's nothing else besides I don't have the money. If they have the money, they are sellable. But I know what most people are trying to do. They're trying to push a dead bear up the tree. They're trying to whoop a horse that's not going to even run. They're trying to beat someone up that does not have the money. That is a crime. A crime is when you're trying to sell to someone that is not closable and someone that is not that actually doesn't have the finances to buy. There's 8 billion people. Go find someone who has the money. No matter what you sell, there's always a market for what you're going to sell. So I talked about having a strategy, okay? But right now we're going through a pandemic. We're going through a crisis. We're going through one of the most toughest times ever right now. And some of the biggest businesses are crumbling and falling apart. But you've got to be able to understand that this is the time to sell. This is the time to go online. This is the time to scale online. This is the time for that e-commerce business. This is that time for, that social digital marketing business. This is the time. This is the era right now. 2008, 2001, 2008 recessions were all about property and the tech. Right now, we're going through, it's going to be a public recession very soon. We're going to run into it. I'm just waiting for everything to crumble because I'm seeing it crumble, but I want it to be more public and declared, because when it is, we know what our next move is on the chessboard. We're planning 15 moves in advance. But what does it really take to sell ice to an Eskimo? Well, let's go break it down. What is that saying, selling ice to an Eskimo, comes from 2 different meanings. Number one, someone who can sell ice to an Eskimo, ice to an Eskimo before it melts. I want to sell ice to an Eskimo when there's ice right in front of them. That basically means they're damn good at what they do. That's number one. Number two, they found a need and a solution to the Eskimo. And the Eskimo wants what they have. Boom, they're going to buy. So there's an equation that we want to break down. 50% is the proof is in the numbers. 50%. Proof is in the numbers. The more you show, the more you close. The more you expose your product or service to, the more you close. The more eyes you get your product and service on, the better chance of you succeeding. The more competition you have, the more pressure it puts you on to rise. 40% of sales is knowing what to say, having that script. Okay? So 40% say script. Knowing what to say. A, B, C. Always be closing. Structure in your technique. Technique. Ronaldo, when he kicks the ball, he kicks it a specific way. He's got his technique. Tiger Woods, when he's putting, he's got his own technique. Sachin Tendulkar, when he was batting, one of the best cricket players, he's got his own technique. Rugby players, technique. Chess players, strategy. Technique in opening moves, middle game, end game. So you want to be able to understand 50% is in the numbers. If you have the best technique, but you don't have the numbers to get your product and service in front of, it's game over. And then 10% is timing. 10% is timing. Timing meaning, is it their time to buy right now? See, in every different country, they have their own payday. In South Africa, 15th is government payday, 25th is a whole country payday. United States, every single Friday generally. New Zealand and Australia, every single Friday. It just depends on your country. It should be very predictable. When is the perfect time to go out there and sell? Well, when is the best time to follow up? So you want to be able to understand that proof is in the numbers. The more you show, when I went through 145 no's, was only a matter of time. Was only a matter of time before this thing flipped for me. Only a matter of time before, when I got in front of enough people, was only a matter of time before someone said the 3-letter word that got me fired up to go out and make it double, triple, quadruple my sales. Script. When I was at a very early stage in my career, I had a very simple 1, 2, 3 steps, but I worked through trial and error. I got the confidence, and then I waited for the timing. Your preparation, God's timing, magic moment, ignites a fire, game over, you can't stop it. Okay? So we want to be able to understand, how do we close anyone and everyone out there? How do we close? So you're going to start to do your research. Start to do your research. What is your research on that company, on that individual? And you're going to start identifying the decision maker. I don't speak to anyone else besides the decision maker. Any one of the 15, 20 companies that I own right now, whatever the product is, my pitch is very simple. I know when to create emotion, you need to know when to create emotion. I know when to ask the buying questions, you need to know when to ask the buying questions. I know when to go out there and create fear of loss, you need to know when to create fear of loss. You know the techniques, the pitch varies, but the strategy stays exact same. Speak to the decision maker. There's no time to speak to their assistant. There's no time to go speak to someone who doesn't have the bank card to go debit that check. Okay? Another thing, you want to go out there and you want to start analyzing your leads, analyzing your deals. And you can choose which one you want to close in order. Example, if this person has more money, close them first. If this person is getting paid, close them first. Start qualifying your product, your prospects. Start asking questions, buying questions. Another thing you want to do is you want to start understanding their pain point. Understanding their pain point meaning, what do they need? Convince them on what they need. Find a solution for what they need. Let me put you in an emotional state. A cell phone. I'm speaking to the husband. And I'm trying to sell a $500 phone. And I'm telling the husband, you've got a wife. What if your wife was driving? What if your child is in the back? You're driving down a very dark road. Battery dies because she's got the cheapest phone ever. She's panicking because she doesn't know who to phone. She can't phone anyone. She doesn't have a power bank. But if you had an Apple iPhone, if you had the latest Samsung, well, guess what would happen? Extra battery life. Safety. You want to be able to sell on their pain point emotionally. And once you start to understand their core problem, selling yourself, selling your product, selling your service is a breeze. You'll do it overnight. Okay? I want you to start being real, being honest, being transparent. Don't try to change your tonality. Tonality is good, but don't change your accent. Don't go out there and change who you are. Don't be so robotic and systematic that it does not sound like you, especially if you're closing to people who know you, because then they can sense immediately you're acting weird, you're acting different, you're acting someone else. They don't want to buy from you. Also, you don't want to start selling. You want to start building rapport. You want to start using your personal touch, and that's going to bring people into your funnel. Man, I wish I can elaborate on this video being an hour or 2 hours, because there's just so much I can take the offline closing to online closing, and some of the latest things that I'm working on right now. It's just going to flip everyone's switch. But you got to know how to close a sales deal, just like how you want to close a friend or someone to be your friend. Even in a relationship, ask yourself a few questions before you sell. Have you gotten to know the person personally? Do you know when their birthday is? Do you know what's their first and last name? Do you talk the most, or do you listen the most? By the way, when you ask a question, you keep quiet. It's like playing tennis. Ball's in their court. If they fumble, you win. If they hit it back to you, another buying question. Do you know their occupation? Do you know who they are, where they come from, what their background is? Also want you to start learning how to set expectations. Go out there and set expectations. Meaning, if you're setting an expectation of your product line being here, deliver. Don't set it up here and deliver right here, because you're not going to be around 5-10 years from today. Pitch the solution. Don't pitch the product. If you're quoting anything right now, if you're writing on anything on your takeaways on your piece of paper, pitch the solution. Don't pitch the product. Another point is you want to start creating urgency. If you create a need in the marketplace, or right now, half your work is already done. Start creating fear of loss by attaching deadlines. Maybe you want to give a discount. Maybe you don't have a discount on your product. Create one, or create the value. How much does it cost in value? How much are you selling for right now? One of the things I got great at, side note, if you want one of my secrets, is I work with a lot of influencers, people who have good big following, people who have got big names, big brands, very easy for credibility and to scale your company or your brand or your product. I associate myself with influencers and influential people. So you want to be able to start going out there and understanding it's only you. It's only you that has access to the influencers. If you don't go out and put your hand out to shake someone's hand, don't expect them to shake your hand, because they're more influential than you are. You take someone who's got 100,000 followers and you got 5,000 followers, you put them together, you have 105,000 followers. Leverage of other people, leverage of other people's credibility. You want to know who your competition is, so you define your USP, your unique selling point, and then you start preparing like a chess game. And you know 5 3 moves in advance, 5 moves in advance, 10 moves in advance, 15 moves in advance. You're ahead of the game. Start watching what you say. Stop putting your foot in your mouth. If you don't know how to close, keep quiet. Bring someone who's qualified to help you. And point people in the right direction. Lead them in the right direction. So use the right type of words when you're closing, because it definitely makes a difference. I don't know what your pitch is, but I'd love to go out there and just find out your product, find out your pitch, and start to go out there and dissect it. So you want to start asking people for the sale. Start asking them for the sale. So I want to elaborate on a buying question. What is a buying question? A buying question is asking a question. Buying question is asking a question you already know the answer to. Babe, where do you want to go to eat tonight? Do you want to eat Japanese or do you want to eat Chinese? I'm giving you 2 options. I'm already going to win. I know where you want to go. She thinks. These are the only 2 options. Subconsciously, I programmed them. And you can say whatever your product is. What did you love most about it? The product, the business, or both? You're asking a buying question. The product, the business, or both? You're asking a question you already know the answer to. It's like multiple choice. You give them the question, you already know the answer to it. So start asking buying questions. Another technique is reduction selling. Value, 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 value. So I can sell you right now. My personal rate is about $5,000 for one-on-one coaching consultation. But, there's a big but right here. Right now it's $1,992. And it's going to go up to $10,000 very soon. But you can hire Jack Canfield and get very inspired and pumped up and fired up, bounce from wall to wall in 24 hours, do absolutely nothing. Or you can pay me and I can teach you the skills. You know what's really cool? Right now as we speak, when you buy my 1-hour coaching, I give you 1 extra hour. On top of that, this is what I've done. I've built this business up to $1 billion in sales. I've built this business to a 7-figure income. I built this business to a 7-figure income. I built 5 other businesses to 6-figure incomes, etc. And I'm still going out there and making you understand my value. I spent $1 million in personal development. You don't have to pay me $1 million. You pay me $1,992 for 2 hours. It's literally $1,000 for an hour. I give you a 5-year plan. You walk out of that call or webinar or meeting knowing who you want to be, what you want to achieve, and how you're going to achieve it. What if you learn one thing that makes you $100,000? You're $98,000 in profit. That's what I want you to start doing. When you start selling, you're going out there and you're sharing value, 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 shortchange it with how much you charge. So that's selling on value. I want you to start mastering the art of overcoming objections. So having that landmine map and knowing what the different objections are. And I'm going to make a whole different video on all these objections in your world. And I'm going to start slicing it half, annihilating it. Because I can sit down with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and I'll close them right now on why they need to buy this. Why? Because I know my landmine map, I know the objections, and I know how to counterattack them. Another thing I'm going to elaborate on in my next video is following up. I've got some key techniques, social media techniques that can truly take your business to the next level. So I want to thank you for watching this video, but I want you to be able to understand my next video, which is a follow-up on this. Stay tuned for that, because that's going to be some key information. Cool, so now that we completed, if you love what you heard, share this with your friends. Share this with your organization. Share this with people who can truly be impacted. Also, over and above that, I need you to understand, we're going to pick one winner every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. $250 on social media lives, $250 on my giveaways for first in 5 when you're participating. So real quickly, Davron, who do we have? Pick one random winner that went out there and put a great quote or engaged, or that you figured out that they They're actually participating and they are a true millionaire student.
Okay, so we're going to use another social media platform today. We're not going to say which one, but she comes up as a top fan. Her name is Pallavi P. Nunku.
Take a screenshot of that, Paula. I'm sending you $50 US. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. You're officially a millionaire student. This is going to stay up for a few hours. Get everyone to watch it. Stay impacted, stay inspired, and take massive immediate action.